In a move no one saw coming, Donald Trump has paused the tariff war with Canada. For 30 days, both nations have agreed to step back, with new promises of border security and a joint strike against organized crime. But is this a real turning point? Or just a temporary ceasefire in an escalating trade war? And what does it mean for the economy, businesses, and global politics? This is Elite Global Watch, where we simplify the complex and reveal the hidden. Let's dive into the details and find out. The U.S. Canada trade war just took an unexpected turn. In a surprising announcement, President Trump has halted the planned 25% tariffs on Canadian imports for now. But this isn't a surrender. It's a 30-day pause to make room for negotiations. So, what's the deal? Canada has agreed to boost border security and ramp up efforts to tackle fentanyl trafficking, a key concern for the U.S. administration. This includes deploying 10,000 troops to monitor border activity and creating a joint strike force to combat organized crime across both nations. While the tariff pause is welcome news for industries on both sides, it's clear this move is less about economic relief and more about securing strategic commitments from Canada. But the question is this just a temporary truce, or the start of a lasting resolution? Let's keep digging. The motives behind the pause. So why did Trump suddenly hit the pause button on tariffs? On the surface, it might look like an olive branch, but the motives run much deeper. This isn't just about trade, it's about strategy, politics, and pressure from all sides. First, there's the mounting economic pressure. U.S. businesses, from auto manufacturers to retailers, have been lobbying hard against these tariffs. Rising costs are squeezing profits, and the threat of higher prices is already weighing on consumers. Then, there's Canada's response. By committing to boost border security and crack down on fentanyl trafficking, Prime Minister Trudeau has offered just enough to ease Trump's concerns, while avoiding a full-scale trade war. And let's not forget Canada's pledge to deploy 10,000 troops to the border. That's a bold move that likely softened Trump's stance. But here's the big question, is this pause really about compromise, or is it part of Trump's bigger plan? Some analysts believe it's a tactical move to strengthen his leverage in future negotiations, forcing Canada to make more concessions while keeping U.S. businesses temporarily relieved. This isn't just about tariffs, it's about power, strategy, and positioning for the next round of talks. But will it work, or will Canada turn the tables? Economic and geopolitical implications. Trump's 30-day pause may seem like a win for both sides, but the economic and geopolitical ripple effects could be far more complex than they appear. Let's unpack the implications, both short-term and long-term. First, the good news. The pause brings some much-needed short-term relief to industries on both sides of the border. U.S. manufacturers and Canadian exporters can breathe easier for now. But the big question is, what happens after 30 days? If negotiations fall apart, the tariffs could come back stronger than ever, leading to higher costs, disrupted supply chains, and job losses in critical industries. Economists warn that this pause might simply be the calm before the storm. And here's the wild card, China and BRICS nations. With tensions rising between the US and Canada, countries like China and India could see this as an opportunity to strengthen trade ties with Canada. In fact, Canada has already been in talks with other nations to diversify its trade partnerships. Could this pause push Canada further away from the US and closer to rival economies? But here's where it gets even more interesting. This pause is a textbook example of Trump's America First strategy. By pausing tariffs, he's temporarily easing domestic pressure while using the threat of future tariffs as a bargaining chip. It's a high-stakes gamble, but will it pay off? This is no longer just about tariffs. It's about reshaping alliances, leveraging power, and setting the stage for the next chapter in global trade. What happens next? So, the million-dollar question, what happens next? With a 30-day pause on tariffs, the clock is ticking. Will this brief window be enough to secure a deal, or is the trade war simply on hold, ready to reignite at any moment? Right now, negotiators are racing against time to find common ground. But here's the catch. If talks break down, the tariffs will return stronger than ever. The risk? A full-scale economic standoff that neither side can afford. This isn't just about the US and Canada anymore, it's about the global trade system. If the tariff war resumes, it could send shockwaves across global markets, forcing countries like China, the EU, and BRICS nations to rethink their trade strategies. Could this push allies further apart or create new economic alliances? And for U.S.-Canada relations, this is a pivotal moment. Will this pause be remembered as the first step toward reconciliation, or the calm before a much larger storm? The next few weeks will decide the future of North American trade and perhaps the future of global economic stability. In conclusion, Trump's trade war with Canada has taken an unexpected turn. Will this 30-day pause lead to a lasting resolution, or are we on the brink of an even bigger economic crisis? What do you think? Will Canada push back harder, or will Trump's strategy pay off? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay informed on the biggest global events, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive into the world's biggest geopolitical shifts.